Hello, I am Certified Moth. Thank you for stopping into my video. Before I get into it, I just want to apologize for the very infrequent uploads lately. This semester of university has been so much crazier than my last one, and I barely have time to make videos at this point. So for the time being, I've decided to switch to uploading every other week instead of every week. Also, my phone that I normally record and edit on just gave out on me for literally no reason, so I'm trying to figure out how to work around that or get a new one. As usual, this video has the normal janky filming that they always do. I think there's some issues with the video and I'm really sorry. I really don't know what caused that. I still have yet to find a tripod that works well for art content. Sorry, I'm trying. Also, I just hit 300 subs. Thank you so much, that's super exciting. Anyways, let's get on to the actual video. If you're a returning viewer, you would know that I am currently a first-year student at AU Arts, and the way my school does first year is that it's like an introductory year, which has a lot of drawing-based classes with like fundamentals and stuff, but it also lets us experiment what major we're going to end up picking. But as my first year comes to an end, I'm going to get to actually declare my major soon, which I've decided is going to be painting. I know, it's like the second most basic fine art major. I think it's like second to only drawing in my opinion, which was my second choice. But I've really found a love for it in the past year, and some of my favorite both contemporary and historical painters have been artists, or obviously, they've been painters. Personally, I found lately that I've been really insecure in my painting skills. Like, I vaguely know what style I like, which is sort of painterly, darker color palette, sort of close to realism style but not super constrained to it. And then I like the use of like unnatural colors that aren't actually present in the reference. Despite knowing what style I like, I really haven't done much practice in it, and I kind of keep letting myself get drawn back into my habit of trying to get these smooth gradients and thick layers of color, which I find accidentally sort of draws me back to my drawing style, which I don't think complements my paintings, at least in my opinion. So today I decided to create 2 acrylic paintings to sort of help me develop my style further into what I'm looking for. The first painting is a study of this charcoal air freshener thing I have, and also just a random bottle of glue from my desk. I was mostly interested in practicing fabric, but I figure also add in a harder form, like it's not gonna hurt. I realized that I haven't really done studies in paint before, besides this one assignment for my painting class last semester where I painted a glass bottle using 4 different color palettes. But actively going out of my way to set up still lifes is something I intend to try to do much more when I have time. This painting I think was somewhat successful in getting me into the groove of this style, trying to stay loose and fast. In the air freshener, I kept mixing colors too close to one another, so it ended up kind of losing the brush strokes. So I did go back in with some more extreme shadows and light to try counter that, but I think on the yellow I went way too harsh and way too dark. And then I think the loose fabric turned out okay on the bottom part. The loose fabric on the top part turned out okay, but the bottom part was too harsh for the folds to look real. And then I think the pink fabric sort of lost form because of the palette I was using. I didn't have the right colors to mix a deep shadow for it. And then also I think the orange stitching, it lost its form in a way I disliked at first, but actually it really grew on me after a while, and I think it really suits my style to be less precious with details like that. I think the background for that one was pretty good. I didn't love the lack of transition between the brown and the white, but I did really like the way the green underpainting showed through them, which is a good sign to me that I did a really good job of keeping them thin. I have a tendency to go very thick with acrylics, which I'm not loving the look of it, and also it uses a lot more of my paint than is really necessary, because I use golden heavy body acrylics, which range from I think like 20 to 35 Canadian dollars for a 60 milliliter tube, so pretty damn expensive. So the less I can use, the better. There's not much to say about the glue bottle. I was kind of running out of steam when I got to it, so the proportions are off and it's not nearly as detailed as the air freshener. Last minute, I added some light yellow to differentiate it from the background and also tie it into the yellow in the air freshener. I think in terms of how I want my paintings to look, it's an okay start, but it's just not quite there. The colors are too real to life, it doesn't have any pops of color, and I think the brushwork really lacks energy and direction, and I think it just lacks everything that makes it very interesting. The next painting was a self-portrait, and for that one I just took a quick selfie at an angle I wanted to practice on and I got to work. And if you're wondering why both these paintings have green underpaintings, it's because I just bought a massive ass bottle of green paint on sale. Plus I wanted to play out with a dark warm color palette, so I thought green was a pretty good choice, but I actually only really did that palette in the self-portrait. While we wait for me to make some progress that we can talk about, let's talk about art school. Yay! Yeah, so like I was saying, I've kind of been busy as shit this semester. I have a drawing professor who is much more serious and actually makes us do work outside of class, but she's really great. Like, I think I've had some of my best crits with her where we actually really get into the art and what it means and the choices made, and it's not really just exchanging useless compliments like some of my crits have ended up being. I actually just got my first A+ in that class for a piece about my experience with like gender expectations in rural Alberta. I do have a whole ass presentation on an artist due this Friday, which I should be working on, but I don't want to. I've had 7 weeks to do this presentation, and I will wait until there's maybe 3 days left because I'm awful. I also have glass blowing and print classes this semester. Glass is really cool and incredibly tiring, and it's really hard. And then print is also cool, but it's got quite a large workload. I also have projects due for both of these within the next week or so. I just have to draw and plan a piece to try out, I think it's like etching point, I don't know, in print, or dry point, I actually forget. And then I need to create a vessel and somehow activate the interior for glass. I don't know what I'm doing for that. Then I have art history, which is easy because our class is too big to have too many assignments. Every single first year has it. And then English, which is super easy, and it's basically just like high school level stuff at the hardest. Although I do have a project right now that I got given a singular week before the due date. I have to write 4 to 5 pages on this essay I'm supposed to read. And if I'm being honest, I do not care about that assignment at all with everything else going on, but I guess I'll see if I actually manage to get it done. Anyways, enough of me complaining. I love art school. When I'm miserable and tired, I think I don't, but I really do. In this painting, I really stuck to my insistence to paint my sketches instead of drawing them, and it finally worked for me. I think this really ended up being close to the reference. The mouth is definitely a bit narrow, but I do have a narrow mouth anyways, so whatever. I successfully let the underpainting show through on the face in a way that I think ended up looking really sick, and I chose to do these bright orange highlights to contrast the teal in the background, the underpainting, since they're pretty close to being analogous colors. I think the hair is definitely the weak point of this. It ended up kind of flat, and I think it needed more shadows. And then I struggled a lot with the eyes doing them, but I actually really like how they ended up turning out. I feel like they have quite a good bit of emotion in them, which is something I always love to get. I think the hat turned out very good considering how much I struggle with the angle of caps. And I think the red and yellow highlights were really nice on it, but maybe I would dull down the yellow a little bit, not on the outside of the cap, but like the inside. I do like the bright yellow on the outside as like this rim lighting on the hat and the shirt. I think it was really strong, and I think it framed the form nicely. I chose a quite dull background that I really wasn't sure about, but I think it really brought the piece together by letting the saturated highlights shine in comparison. And then I ended it off with some glasses that I really struggled with, because I think I messed up the angle of the head at some point a little bit, but I managed to edit them to look kind of natural, though they definitely aren't perfect. But overall, I'm very happy with the understandings I came to about my paintings, and I think this exercise was really useful. I hope I'm able to remain this loose next time I work on a canvas, because being overly precious in my art is an issue I really want to get over. I really hope you enjoyed this video and my silly ramblings. I really want to do more painting videos in the future. Maybe on some of my larger projects, that'd be fun. I would really appreciate it if you liked, commented, or subscribed if there's anything you want to talk about regarding art, painting, art school, video ideas, or literally anything. I respond to basically every comment I get, and they really make my day. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Have a great day. Goodbye!